From Washington, this is VOA News. What are called anti-terror operations in eastern Ukraine resume after signs of torture. Somali militants claim responsibility for killing a second member of parliament in as many days. I'm Ira Mellman reporting from Washington. Ukraine's interim president has ordered security forces to resume what he calls anti-terror operations in eastern Ukraine after a local politician from his own party and a second person were found dead with signs of torture. The order from Oleksandr Turchynov was made Tuesday following reports that a Ukrainian Air Force plane came under fire near the eastern city of Slovyansk, and just hours after visiting U.S. Vice President Joe Biden departed the Ukrainian capital.
Vice President Joe Biden, the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit Ukraine since the crisis erupted last year, offered the country's new government financial and technological support. While the trip is seen as a largely symbolic show of support, Biden had strong words for Russia.
But now it's time for Russia to stop talking and start acting. Act on the commitments that they made. To get pro-Russian separatists to vacate buildings and checkpoints, accept amnesty, and address their grievances politically.
Washington has called on Moscow to live up to commitments made in Geneva last week to put more pressure on the pro-Russian protesters to vacate state buildings. Russia denies any involvement in the protests. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.
The United States is sending about 600 paratroopers to Poland and the Baltic states in an expansion meant to underscore its commitment to NATO allies as a result of the escalating tensions in Ukraine. Pentagon spokesman Rear Admiral John Kirby says 150 paratroopers based in Italy will arrive Wednesday in Poland. He said another 450 paratroopers will be deployed to Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania. The bilateral exercises will last about a month. He said new troops will then rotate in for fresh exercises throughout the rest of the year. Militants in Somalia claimed responsibility for killing a second member of parliament in as many days. Al-Shabaab said it shot Adi Aziz Isaac Mursal, who died Tuesday after an ambush in the district of Mogadishu. Authorities said he was shot multiple times and died on the spot. On Monday, al-Qaeda-linked group took credit for a car bombing in Mogadishu that killed parliamentarian Isaac Mohammed Ibrahim and wounded another lawmaker. The UN Special Representative for Somalia, Ambassador Nicholas Kay, said the attacks are a reminder that while the Islamist group has lost territory over the past few years, it remains a threat in the country.
A reminder from them that they're still capable, they're still there. A reminder from them that they are determined to undermine the government, create the impression that the government hasn't got control. And I think this will continue.
Ambassador Kay commented Tuesday at the Washington-based U.S. Institute of Peace. The U.S. is closely monitoring the situation on the Korean Peninsula after reports that North Korea may be planning another nuclear test ahead of President Obama's trip to the peninsula. State Department spokesman Jen Psaki said the U.S. continues to urge North Korea to refrain from actions that threaten regional peace and security. Washington was responding to a warning by the South Korean military that the North may be preparing another underground nuclear test. Defense Ministry spokesman Kim Min-suk said that assessment is based on increased activity at the North's nuclear test site. Mr. Obama travels to Japan Wednesday and to Seoul Friday. He is expected to discuss ways to deal with North Korea's nuclear weapons program. The death toll from last week's South Korean ferry accident exceeded 100 on Tuesday as divers continue to pull bodies from the sunken vessel. More than 200 people remain missing and are presumed dead after becoming trapped on a 5-story passenger ship, which capsized last Wednesday. Divers retrieved 17 bodies from the 6,800-ton seawall ferry early Tuesday. The pace of the recovery effort is expected to speed up as conditions improve. With an expected final death toll of around 300, the accident is set to become South Korea's worst ferry disaster in more than 2 decades. And the U.S. Supreme Court has upheld Michigan's ban on using race as a factor for college admissions. The ruling Tuesday rejected a challenge to a measure passed by referendum in 2006. More on our website at voanews.com. I'm Ira Mellman, VOA News.